Okay, so like that made my popular question right now as for like the Pokemon World Championship news. Like I was only putting like the summary or like a recap, going through like each of like the individual matches that have taken place so far in like the first round of like, the Pokemon World Championship, and going through each and every single match in like detail and assessing like the performance of like each of the trainers that have won, like basically bring the performance of each of the trainers, but like giving highlighting and giving more importance to and assessing greatly the precise performance of like the precise trainers that have won in like the first round of like the tournament and are going to be like and have moved on to like the round to like the Pokemon World Championship before like had all this like summary and recap precisely before like the official round two of like the Pokemon World Championship would be beginning, which unfortunately everything would be beginning in like the next episode of like the scenario that I'm preparing. So like right now I'm preparing like the summary and the recap assessment filler right now is what I was literally preparing and I'm preparing. So well, so like definitely my person theory as for like the whole Alan versus Leon initial fight that basically took place. My personal theory is that even though mid-battle, like Alan, I think had said dialogues that might appear as if like Alan genuinely wanted to like prove to like the audience and the rest of the world by taking down like Leon's like popular ace Pokemon Charizard with his Charizard like and that way to throw to like the audience and the rest of the world that like this Charizard like was like stronger than Leon's like ace and popular Charizard like Charizard. Like even though Alan totally said dialogues that might appear that way, like I posted only pertain that might possibly that only kind of in a way kind of like gave off such a meaning. Like I'm considering the true intent of Alan was precisely to like precisely use both of his Pokemon like Malamar as well as Charizard to precisely to Alan never even had like a any sort of confidence in his skills or like the skills of like skills and power of his Charizard. Like, so that like Alan, my personal theory is that like Alan never even believed that in a fair fight, in a fair one versus one fight against like Leon Chapter, Alan Chapter won't be able to like at all or and won't be at all be able to like overpower and defeat Leon Chapter. Might be one thing that Alan might have been definitely been well and fully aware of. Definitely my personal theory. Hence why precisely Alan basically precisely went to scout his Charizard when Leon had sent out his Charizard and basically sent Alan even sending out his Malamar to like fight up against like Leon's Charizard precisely because of this reason is definitely my personal theory. So the true intent Alan might have been totally lying when he said that dialogue and the true intent of Alan might have been to like precisely use his Malamar since my personal theory is definitely that Alan definitely not at all have any confidence with his own Charizard being able to like defeat Leon's chapter in like a fair fight. Like Adam's intent through intent might have been to like potentially use his like Malamar to send his Malamar first against like Leon's chapter to use his Malamar to like cause as much as damage as possible to like Leon's chapter before his Malamar failed. Like Alan while sending out his Malamar against like Leon's chapter and never had like any confidence or like any hope at all of like Alan's chapter Malamar ever being able to like defeat like Leon's chapter. This definitely my thousand theory impression. So to use Malamar to cause as much damage as possible to like Leo's Jabber. And then for Alan to like send out his like Jabber, like so that like it might appear like so that that way Alan might be planning on tricking like the audience into thinking like all of a sudden like it's like a Charizard versus Charizard battle like with like Charizard X and Charizard X on one side and Leon's like popular is Charizard on the other side. So that like at that point and especially since like Alan Byron precisely knew that basically Leon won't be able to like use any more gimmicks on his like Charizard. Leon won't be able to like turn his like Charizard into his like popular Gigantamax Charizard, especially because like Leon had already straight away at the battle event began had Gigantamax was like reliable. So like even that might have been like an added confidence to precisely Alan to precisely then, according to his strategy, then send out his like a Charizard and turn his Charizard into Charizard like to then like fight up against like Leon Charizard after like the damage like his Malamar would have done to like Leon Charizard. So that like that way and like it might appear as like a fair to that way and it might have been an attempt by Alan to like totally trick like the audience to thinking that like a fair Charizard X versus like Leon Charizard fight in which like that way Alan might have wanted to like totally show off in front of like the audience and the rest of the world and making it like falsely appear as if like Alan's Charizard excess like basically even stronger than part of in like the one person one fight and that like against like Leo Chapter and strong enough to be over to over and defeat Leo Chapter and that way it's only for things and in a big manner to appear in front of like the audience and rest of the world as like Alan Chapter is even stronger than Leo Chapter. Might have been like maybe Alan's goal, maybe Alan might have definitely not at all have any hopes of even winning like the battle against like Leon at all. Definitely my personal winner. So like the only goal while Alan might have even like entered into like battle into like the battle against Leon, like the only focus of Alan might have been precisely to like make it turn it into a scenario in which like eventually Alan will be like sending out his like charter like to like precisely defeat like Leon and exhausted Leon's like Charizard, and that way to like even though Alan might have only expected him to like lose against Leon, at least like Alan would be having at least that whole popularity of like into like really tricking people into like thinking that this Alan's Charizard is like this like stronger than like the popular Leon's like Charizard. This might have been definitely Alan's goal, and hence why Alan precisely switched out his like Charizard against like Leon Charizard and precisely set out his Manamar to like precisely fight against Leon Charizard, even while Alan uh, even having said the dialogue mid battle that basically his ultimate goal to like bring down Leon Charizard, popular Charizard, and that way like making it appear to like the audience as of like that Alan's ultimate goal was to like precisely take on Leon Charizard with like Alan Charizard acting like a fair one versus one fight, and then for Alan to like defeat Leon Charizard with like Alan Charizard, and basically that way to prove to like that's the actually prove it in a fair manner to actually prove to like that's the world that Alan Charizard is like stronger. But definitely my personal record. That might have been definitely like a fake accent, a fake lie of like a dialogue that Alan might have totally told with that. It is definitely my personal record. And my personal theory is that this was like the precise reason, like precisely because like Alan might have like straight away like the battle with against like Leon even began, like Alan might have even before Alan's battle against Leon, like Alan might have been totally preparing for his battle against Leon by precisely keeping like his like Malamar as well as Charizard on his team. If you remember team, and Alan might have only viewed his like Malamar and Charizard as like those precious Pokemon that he has to like precisely use these to protect Pokemon to like precisely for Alan to be able to like even defeat like Leon single Charizard. This might have definitely been Alan's goal. So like precisely because these two Pokemon like the Malamar and Charizard were so precious to extra precious to Alan, which is the precise reason for like Alan even sticking to like basically using Alan even not switching out his like chest note and Alan even after like Leon straight away sent out his like first Pokemon and was like available. It's like a grass type and even straight away Gigantamax did like even then like precisely even while Alan's first Pokemon was, in fact, like it's just not like this is also a grass type. Yet, like still for Alan to like still not even switch out his like grass type, it's just not against like the superiorly or like a Gigantamax or like will be precisely due to like Alan bonding, like exactly like how Alan bonded like might have totally bonded his like Manamar to be able to like do as much as damage to like Leon's like as possible to like Leon's Charizard before his Manamar fading and losing to like Leon's Charizard. It might have been like a similar strategy used by Alan using his chest knot against like Leon. It's like Dragon Master available for his chest knot to be able to like do as much as damage as possible to Leon's like Dragon Master available before like his chest knot fading. So that like his precious Pokemon, his like Alan's like Charizard as well as his Malamar, his precious Pokemon won't be taking any sort of significant damage, would be able to like defeat like the Rillaboom without taking any sort of significant damage. So that like with like a Rillaboom down, like the remaining two Pokemon of Leon would one among like the remaining two Pokemon of like Leon would definitely be a Charizard would be like obvious to like precisely Alan. So like precisely to increase the possibility of like Alan being able to like defeat and take down and achieve Alan's goal of like being able to like take down and just show up in front of like the audience and the rest of the world by taking down like Leon's like Charizard by precisely using two of his like precisely Malamar as well as Charizard and you like fighting bringing down Leon like to bring down Leon's like Charizard in such a way that he would be like even though he would be like Alan would be using two of his Pokemon like his Malamar and Charizard like the last Pokemon he would be sending would be his precise Charizard so that to appear in a way as like that way trick and trick like the audience into and like the world into thinking that like Charizard is stronger than Leon's Charizard was like the entire plan of like Alan the entire time. Like the moment Alan had even stepped, even before like Alan even stepping into like his fight against Leon, like this might have been like the plan of that Alan might have had in his mind. This totally backfired with like I think like Leon taking out both his Malamar as well as just like Jafar like Alan that way having to like embarrassingly have to face a defeat that ultimate defeat against like Leon. It's definitely my personal theory, and also like definitely my personal theory as for like the whole land which like they end up by like and so talking in that battle like basically in the final showdown battle where like Land had sent out his like Dragonite and Giant had like I think Dynamax with like Dragonite versus like Tianta who had like her mega evolved Gardevoir like basically in that battle like precisely final showdown battle what while both of the like both Land and Tianta were like basically down to their last Pokemon yet like in that battle like even after like Lance had basically Gigantamax is like I mean like Dynamax is like Dragonite still for like but the plus main cause or like the main reason that might have greatly reduced like Lance's chance of like seizing victory in that final showdown battle against like the end of like Mega Gardevoir. Those you predict that might have been precisely Lance most likely having either Lance getting totally overconfident or like Lance totally losing his like concentration in battle. Like because like those different Lance might have been totally approached to battle against the Anta by totally not even viewing the Anta as like an actual opponent. It's definitely my personal reference. And Lance is like only focus and goal might have been only on Leon. Definitely my personal reference. And Leon might have been like the only trainer that Lance might have even recognized as like a strong opponent. Definitely also my personal reference. And this might be the precise precise like mindset of Lance that might have only greatly backfired on Lance with shockingly backfired on Lance as like the battle progressed then basically eventually the slowly started like gain up on Lance and basically it's definitely my personal understand and this would be the precise reason. This would be like even after like Lance even losing to like the entire definitely Lance still would have definitely had that very same exact mindset of like basically even after losing to the entire Lance still might have not even uh, might have only seen like even at that point like Lance might have only either Lance might have only thought of like basically the entire victory of our Lance as like some sort of a luck for the entire that allows her to like be able to like defeat Lance or like the other possibility theory is that basically Lance might or not be even after getting defeated by Ilyantha, Lance might not only recognized and seen like apart from like Leon like only Ilyantha as well as like the only two trainers in like the master grade that Lance might have even taken seriously and Lance taking Ilyantha seriously only due to like Lance being defeated by Ilyantha is definitely my position. Hence why Lance was like kind of like condescending and towards like Ash like excitedly like Ash who totally knew Lance from way back like basically trying to like basically approach Lance like even then after Lance defeat against Clear but even then like Lance basically acting like indifferent and kind of like condescendingly towards like kind of a tiny bit condescendingly towards like Ash would like definitely have to do with like Lance definitely sticking on to that very same false and failing mindset of like Lance and of like basically like Lance not even taking his like opponent seriously and basically progressively seeing his like opponents as like extremely weak and not even worthy to be in like Lance's presence or like not even worthy to even have a battle against Lance is definitely my personal theory and position. So this might be the precise reason for like Lance even like totally kind of like ignoring and like kind of like in a condescending manner like kind of ignoring as to that exactly approach Lance of Lance battle against the other which will also be precisely because of Lance not even taking as seriously as Lance was even thinking around the lines as like as even making it to like the master race was solely due to like some fluke or like some lack of as this is definitely my consideration and that's what the precise reason, exact reason for like Lance even losing to like TM especially in like the final showdown fight, like that's a reason for like Lamb greatly reducing his chances of victory against like so like definitely my person theory is that like when Lance put that against the finally eventually reached this like showdown final point like basically with like Lance dynamizing his Dragonite and facing off against like the end of like Mega Gardevoir even in that battle like basically what might have greatly reduced Lance's like hope and chances of like even being able to like seize like any sort of like a victory against Dianta might have been precisely either Lance's like very same extreme overconfidence which might have totally caused like Lance to basically take the decision to like wait to like patiently wait and waste away precious time while his Dragonite was like in its like Gigantamax form to not take advantage of its like while Lance Dragonite was in its like Dynamax form to like not take advantage of its like Dynamax form superior power to like basically use it like to use it like hyper beam like Dynamax version of it like hyper beam attack against like the Emperor's Mega Gardevoir and instead like Lance totally waiting it out until his like Dragonite was had returned back to its like normal form for Lance to like just use like an attack like hyper beam like basically that my was like a critical point in like Lance that like against the Endeavor like Lance has made like the ultimate mistake and a blunder is definitely my personal theory and like either that Lance even doing such a making such a possible mistake like that um, might have been due to like Lance's extreme overconfidence thing and that maybe like Lance's Dragonite have like basically a Dynamax like basically and that and like as like the fight was progressing between like Dynamax Dragonite and like Mega Gardevoir Leonta like at that point like Lance might have only felt like only overconfident thing like no he wouldn't like need like all this like Dynamax power to be able to like use like the Mega Gardevoir of like Leonta and that might be the reason for like either that might be the reason for like Lance simply wasting away precious time and simply waiting until Lance's Dragonite Dynamax period was like over for him to like just use like an attack like a hyper beam against like the end of Gardevoir or like I'm different it might have had to do with like Lance totally being in that absolute shock because like Lance might have never expected like the end to perform as well as she did against like Lance might have been like due to like Lance there is an overconfident mindset like Lance not even taking the other seriously at all. But like as like Lance battle against like the other brothers and the other was like perform slowly start performing better and better and breaking all of like Lance's expectation like basically Lance totally feeling uneasy then basically like Lance might have totally that the fact that Lance might have not even expected like the entire finding Pokemon to Lance the entire to like take to bring Lance down to his like final Pokemon like might have been something that Lance might have never been expected as like Lance battle against the entire might have even began. So like I'm considering like since like both Lance and Lianta were down to like their final Pokemon like at that point I'm considering because of that whole unexpected shock like Lance might have already lost his like focus and concentration that possibly being the reason for like Lance not taking at all advantage of like this uh, dynamite form is of his like Dragonite to like straight away shoot out like the hyper beam attack towards the dynamite version of like the powerful hyper beam attack towards the end of like Mega Gardevoir and instead like Lance totally due to like that shock and lack of concentration totally wasting away precious time and resulting in Lance's Dragonite losing like the just like it's like access to like it's like with the time period over like Lance Dragonite like losing its access to its like dynamic form and dynamic powerful hyper game attack and basically like Lance has to like then use like it's like Lance might only snap out of it only at that point and Lance like desperately using his like final attempt with like Dragonite to like use it like for being against like the Mega Gardevoir while Lance's Dragonite was in its like normal form and basically by that it being too late and basically that way ending up losing to like the most likely either due to lack of concentration or like due to like Lance's either due to like Lance's shock or like an answer lack of concentration created due to just like extreme or confidence or just simply and solely due to like Lance's extreme or confidence alone. Lance that way Lance greatly naively reducing his chance of being able to like defeat Dianta even in like the final showdown fight and basically that way Dianta defeating Lance and basically might have been what might have happened is definitely my first theory and question. Okay, my question theory as for like both Iris versus like Cynthia. that big place were like so they had in fact defeated Iris, and even though Cynthia defeated Iris in such a manner in which like Cynthia totally defeated Iris by preventing like Iris' chance of being able to like use her gimmick of Vino after like seeing that Cynthia had already used her gimmick of Mega Evolution and just like after like a after man for fight for a long duration against like Iris. Still, even though that's like perfectly fair, like still Cynthia totally was like mainly shocked, and Cynthia had totally underestimated Iris, and Cynthia was like totally that underestimation of like Cynthia towards like Iris totally backfired greatly on Cynthia, and that's why Cynthia was like shocked and scared, and actually was like faced with the reality of like actually losing against like Iris, and hence why Cynthia was like only forced to like easily prevent like the possibility of like to turn like a even though Cynthia genuinely initially as like Cynthia's fight against Iris even began like Cynthia genuinely wanted Iris as well to like use her gimmick whatever it is like Iris as well Cynthia might have definitely wanted Iris as well to like use her gimmick and then still Iris totally losing to Cynthia might have been like even after losing even after using Iris to like Pokemon like gimmick whether it's like Vimo Gigantic Tyranids or like Mega Evolution like still Iris losing to Cynthia enough giving it to giving Iris giving it half everything. Cynthia still easily being able to like defeat Iris might have been definitely what Cynthia might have seen for might have probably thought that as to like how the Iris versus Cynthia battle would eventually ending up in might have been what Cynthia might have only or confidently like the man of Cynthia might have only thought of like before like Cynthia's battle against Iris even began. Certainly my personal impression. So like I'm even when like the like battle against Cynthia even began like basically even though Cynthia totally reminds Iris and basically tells Iris that basically like I see you as my opponent and not as my student. And but even while like Iris like straight away as like the battle began like Iris was kept like mentioning about like how Cynthia was like how great Cynthia was as like a teacher to like Iris in like the student path like basically though it was Cynthia that try to like remind Iris that basically like in this like battle in like the masterpiece like that they should be seeing each other as opponents and not as like student and teacher like still my personal impression was Cynthia's activity that had actually seen accidentally it was actually Cynthia that like my personal impression it was actually Cynthia that had totally or confidently and underestimated, like totally and absolutely had underestimated Iris and basically was totally and fully seeing Iris as not an actual opponent, but like only as her like ex student. And hence, like Cynthia totally had like even before approaching her that my question here is the moment like the matches for like the tournament Master Day tournament was revealed and Cynthia saw that like her battle was like in like the first round against like even at that point Cynthia might have in her mind might have already declared her victory against like Cynthia might have totally like remembered how the performance of Iris like basically when Cynthia had been Iris teacher back in like the math and Cynthia might have only calculated in her mind as to like the maximum level of progression Iris would have made this entire time. Like even though Cynthia might have only known like Iris after like most likely after like Cynthia teaching Iris might have been when like Iris had recently became like the champion. So I think like the champion of Nova region. So like even though Cynthia might not only even known of that info as well, still like Cynthia might not only calculated in her mind that like the maximum level of potential and like the maximum level of strength like Aris would have grown by now after like serving as the champion for so long and by this entire time and still Cynthia might not only calculated in her mind that still all that strength wouldn't be even comparable to like Cynthia's strength as like a working home trainer and having like so much greater experience than Iris and all that. Like they might have only felt overconfident, like as a teacher that basically that Iris is only like since like Iris was like Cynthia's student, like Iris Cynthia might have only underestimated Iris thinking that Iris would never be able to like defeat Cynthia. So like even while Iris battle against Cynthia even began, like it might have been definitely Cynthia that might have gained like consciously and not consciously, but like it might have been like permanently like totally fully seeing Iris as the student that would never be able to defeat like the teacher Cynthia. Certainly my personal opinion. Hence why like even while Cynthia says all that dialogues too, I try to like remind her that like Iris will be kind of like how Cynthia sees Iris as like her opponent. Like, but still, it was precisely due to like Cynthia totally seeing Iris as her student. Would be the precise reason for like Cynthia even with Cynthia's initial Pokemon, I think like Cynthia letting Iris like Escadrille like attack Cynthia's like Gastrodon, and basically Cynthia not even telling her Gastrodon to like basically defend against like Iris's like Escadrille's attack, which would be something that Cynthia would have definitely done if like the opponent wasn't instead of Iris's like the opponent were some other like any other opponent in like the master phase except for Iris, like Cynthia would have definitely during that moment would have totally towards us like Gastron to since Gastron is not extremely fast, like Cynthia might not only at least like ordered an attack for Gastron to like increase its like defense or like they use some move to like barrier like kind of move to block that attack. Yet like Cynthia totally like letting Iris like attack her Gastron to like perfectly measure like the increase in strength like the growth in like Iris as like over the years as like a student. It will precisely due to like Cynthia probably still in her mind, like having like that exact mindset that like Iris is like that ex student of seeing Iris only not has equal like as like an opponent in like the master grade, but only Cynthia only seeing Iris as like her ex student who would be never be able to like defeat Cynthia. So like this overconfidence of Cynthia only eventually resulted in like totally backfiring seriously on Cynthia. It's definitely my personal emotion. Like the battle progressing and eventually Cynthia eventually is even forced to like basically bring out her mega videos and even while someone whom Cynthia had at the battle progression Iris like slowly started like bringing out her potential. Definitely my consideration Iris definitely has a lot more potential than Cynthia, even though Iris definitely won't be having like as much experience as Cynthia. Iris would definitely be having like a lot more potential as like a Pokemon trainer and Cynthia is definitely my consideration. Like when it comes to like Pokemon battles and all that, it's definitely my consideration. Not just as like a dragon master, but like also like as like a when it comes to like Pokemon battles as well. Like even though maybe like I'm considering like also like when it comes to, like these past years that I've served as like a champion, like the Unova region, like I think like basically Iris might have only like been able to like bring out a lot of her true potential and like it might have only that way might her skills in like Pokemon battles might have improved greatly to such great superior levels. Certainly my personal grade. No one this like Cynthia might have definitely not been able to like realize only because of Cynthia might have been like assessing Iris from like the point when Iris was like her ex-students and like ex-student and basically and measuring accordingly as to like the current growth of like that Iris will be having. But like this all perfect of Cynthia totally backfired into like Iris totally cornering. And my consider is that Iris had in her battle against Cynthia had totally broken all of Cynthia's expectations of Iris and basically had totally cornered Cynthia to the point that Cynthia had to like pull out. Like Cynthia might have initially while entering into like the battlefield against like Iris, like they might not only planned her mind to like let Iris like bring out her like Pokemon gimmick first and let Iris like try to like take the macro advantage of like her Pokemon gimmick and basically then force India to like finally like as like a grateful master of Iris, like basically force India to like finally bring out her Pokemon gimmick and for her to like defeat Iris might have been like Cynthia's initial plan. But like I'm considering that Cynthia itself, like eventually have like Iris like brought out more and more of her potential and skill, superior skills in like her battle against like Cynthia. Basically, Cynthia totally might have only got cornered to the point that Cynthia was like forced to like bring out her Pokemon gimmick first, and Cynthia that way like evolving her Garchomp and fighting against like Iris. Like what might have happened is definitely my personal generation. So like that way, like I'm considering Cynthia, like towards the end of like Cynthia's battle against like Cynthia was like totally might have totally gotten cornered extremely by Iris. Like at that point, it might have been like a matter of prestige for like Cynthia as like this like popular champion of like the Sinnoh region for Cynthia wouldn't be able to like imagine would be only use that as like a great embarrassment if she were to like lose to like someone like Iris whom Cynthia is definitely my personal image. So like I'm considering at that point, Cynthia might not only felt cornered and Cynthia might have quickly decided to like mega evolve her Garchomp and basically to at that point like Cynthia's mindset might have been to like somehow quickly seize the victory and quickly end this match before because like as the match had been progressing like I you know in like the battle, and might have been so extreme that Cynthia might have been getting totally shocked. The more the her battle against Iris was progressing, that like Iris was gaining more and more on Cynthia. And Cynthia was like totally being cornered and fearing like the possibility of her defeat against that basically that point Cynthia on realizing that basically I still haven't brought out her Pokemon game again. My personal theory is that like it's recent Cynthia might not only figure that basically since Iris had sent out her Haxorus and was battling against Cynthia's like Mega Capsule for like a certain period of time, and still Iris haven't used like the entire time haven't used any of her Pokemon giving like Cynthia might have only figured that Iris's precise Pokemon giving would be precise. It's like even like Haxorus was like Iris's final Pokemon so they might have only calculated and figured that basically mega evolution so definitely is out of the question especially since the Haxorus like during that time would like definitely not mega evolve. And since like there's no mega evolution for Haxorus and since like Iris have not like so like considering at that point like since they might not only figure that it would be either Dynamax or like the Zeno is definitely what like Cynthia might have totally bad. And considering since like even after like Cynthia mega evolving her Charcho, like basically even then like basically like I like taking the decision to like keeping on fighting Cynthia's like mega Garchomp with her hacks or basic level hacks or without even Dynamaxing it would be precisely due to like Iris's like gimmick that Iris would be precisely using would be not like Dynamax. It might have been what they might have figured. So like then like slowly other gimmicks that's like basically remaining is like the Zemo. So like I'm pretty sure they might have not figured that like the when like the battle so like Cynthia while fighting off against Iris acts of the like Mega Garchomp. Chopper might have been totally shocked that even Mega evolving her Garchomp is like still and having her Garchomp Mega in its like Mega evolve having Cynthia's like pride of like an ace Pokemon of like her Garchomp that even having it Mega evolve still not being able to like defeat like Iris is like basic level hacks or might have been that has looked off to like Cynthia. So like the next thing in Cynthia might have been to like quickly end this battle somehow. So like I'm also saying like then Cynthia might have already figured that definitely since like Iris haven't like Dynamax or hacks or until this after even after all this time like definitely it will be certainly Zemo that will be like as this gimmick. So like then Cynthia might have already figured in her mind to like precisely prevent Iris from being able to like use her Zemo. So like I'm also prevent the battle between like Iris Haxorus and Cynthia's like uh, mega Garchomp reached the point where like it was like the precise right time when Iris felt that it was like the precise right time for Iris to like basically steal the show and basically like use like to remove of her Haxorus. Like at that point I was remembering like Cynthia might not only totally been feeling like extremely afraid of like basically like because like Cynthia might have Cynthia's Garchomp by then might have totally gotten exhausted and taken a lot of damage from like hacks or certainly my percentage ability. So Cynthia might have genuinely feared the possibility that like if she tries to like make this like which she sticks on to her initial plan and initial intent and let Iris have her moment and let Iris like use her Pokemon gimmick and then for like Cynthia to like even or for Iris's gimmick can basically defeat like Iris and so that like Cynthia would be having getting that satisfying victory that Cynthia might have wanted initially while stepping into like the stage against like Iris like if Cynthia even attempts to do such a thing like that Cynthia might have totally feared at that point towards the end of the battle, like with Cynthia being absolutely shocked with like the potential of and battle, exceptionally superior battling skills of Iris that seriously rivals Cynthia's. Like at that point, like Cynthia might have totally been extremely afraid of like losing to Iris. That really Cynthia might have lost all confidence in her Mega Garchomp, even being able to like dodge Iris's like Reno, or even if like dodge Iris's Reno, like and that way like her Mega Garchomp actually losing to like Iris's like the Reno of Iris's hacks or might have been like a serious possibility that like Cynthia might have genuinely seen. So that like considering precisely because of this reason, like Cynthia might have totally decided to like basically Cynthia who totally at that point lacked all her confidence, like might have totally decided at that point to ensure her victory by precisely not allowing Iris to like precisely use her hacks or and that way Cynthia precisely ordering her Garchomp, Mega Garchomp to like precisely the precise attack like that way precisely to prevent from using her team Hathor's remove and that way defeating Hathor might have been definitely what might have happened in like Cynthia's fight against like Iris definitely might was very average. So Cynthia like totally like an extremely fearful and a confident, extremely confident lacking Cynthia was like being forced to like stop Iris from being able to use Iris like Pokemon like hacks of like remove in order for like Cynthia to even be able to like defeat against like defeat Iris might have been what exactly might have happened, and this might be the potential reason for like Cynthia looking extremely shocked even after like defeating Iris. Like Cynthia not even having like a satisfied faith in Cynthia's precisely would be to like that absolute shock in which like Iris had basically through that battle Iris only proving herself to be like having like way more potential than Cynthia, like that being evident to Cynthia through that battle of Cynthia against Iris, and it would be due to that absolute shock that like Cynthia had to force herself to like seize a victory against Iris by even not allowing Iris to like use her move. That was like that ultimate shock to like Cynthia, and that was the reason for Cynthia possibly definitely even most likely having like a shock kind of face even after defeating Iris. Shocked and unsatisfied face like Cynthia having like even after like defeating Iris. It's definitely my personal impression. So like definitely my personal impression is that Iris is like superior because my personal theory is that Iris has a lot more superior potential than Cynthia as like a Pokemon battler. So like especially because of this reason I'm personally totally correcting like eventually like there's a future and those ring burns like Iris would be gaining a lot more experience. Like even though even then at that point as well like Cynthia would be having even more experience than Iris. Like considering still even that experience like ending up not even mattering at all once like Iris would be like along with the Iris like already existing superior potential like, once Iris would be like as time would be progressing like I'm considering Iris like gaining more of her like growing her potential even more, and that too coupled with like Iris gaining a bit more of like experience like I'm thing for like the future I'm considering Iris totally turning into like a formidable exceptionally strong trainer, a Dragon Master as well. Not just a strong exceptionally strong champion, but also like an exceptionally strong Dragon Master as well. And at that point, like the future and the recurring for Iris to like far surpass Cynthia's strength. It's like the eventual scenario of like the future that I'm personally rooting for Iris. Yeah, it's definitely my personal impression. Also, like definitely my personal theory as well, like the actual Stephen battle, like in the final showdown, final Pokemon battle, like where like Ash's Pikachu was facing off against like Steven's like and Mega Metagross, like about during that battle, like my personal theory is definitely that Ash's Pikachu had absolutely no chance at all of defeating like Steven's like Mega Metagross. Especially since like Ash's strategies as well was different as what especially since like Ash was even able to like pick along the lines of like creating some sort of strategy to like precisely take advantage of Pikachu having her having its like electro web attack to precisely that way even trap like the superior dodging capabilities of like the Mega Metagross. So it was dodging each and every single attack of Ash Pikachu, especially because I even never even attempted, even thought of such strategy or never even attempted such a strategy to create a striking kind of like attack for Mega Metagross to that way like trick the Mega Metagross into like then launching quickly launching like to like basically it looks like actually never even thought of like basically directing like Pikachu's attack electric thunderbolt attack at like Mega Metagross in such a manner so that like precisely to as not even trying to like that way predict like the direction in which like the Mega Metagross would be dodging from Pikachu's thunderbolt attack so that like as could like precisely be prepared to like precisely like take a chance and be prepared to like launch an electro web at like precisely like a possible kind of like direction in which like the magical Metagross would dodge. So precisely in such a way like basically to try to like trick Steven into like Steven and Steven's like Mega Metagross to be able to like trying to that way trying to like capture like Steven's like exceptionally dodging skills processing Mega Metagross into like falling for the trap of like the electro web. Ash never even attempted such a strategy like just like defeat against like Steven and his like Mega Metagross was certainly my personal impression. But like still my personal impression that it was like even when once like as even used with like Pikachu's Zemo as well, like the Metagross had basically actually even dodged even like the Zemo of Pikachu as well. So like I was remembering like the solely due to like as and like Pikachu's like Zemo solely being like that extra special unique kind of like Zemo that got all that special treatment with like Ash, and especially since like Teemo itself is like a more specific gimmick, like unlike like a Mega Evolution or like unlike a Dynamax, like so when it comes to Teemo, it's like as the name says, like it's like the move, like it's like all about like the gimmick, but like the Teemo is all about move. It's all about greatly and superiorly enhancing like the power of like a move of like the Pokemon that basically my personal theory is that like getting directly hit by a Zemo of like a Pokemon would be kind of like close to like basically getting hit by a one hit KO attack. So especially because of this reason, like the Zemo has that limitation that that basically like a Zemo can in fact be dodged by a Pokemon. So like even though it might be hard, like still the Zemo can be dodged by a Pokemon. So like and also like the Zemo being able to like travel in a straight direction as well is what I think. So like my positive impression is that even while Pikachu send out it's like Zemo against like the Mega Metagross and in like the specific direction where like the Mega Metagross was. And even after that, like the Mega Metagross had in fact actually succeeded in like shorting that precise Zemo of Pikachu. Yet like this highly overpowered gimmick like Zemo basically even solely for action is Pikachu alone having like that extra special power of being able to like follow like the opponent Pokemon and chase after the opponent Pokemon, and that way to ensure that like the move precisely lands like the Mega Metagross even after the Mega Metagross had successfully dodged like Pikachu, and as Pikachu's like Zemo like in actuality my personal impression that like the moment like the Mega Metagross had dodged Ash's like Pikachu's like Zemo like the very next attack of like the Mega Metagross like Pikachu should have been defeated, and that way Ash should have only lost to like Steven. Might have been what might have happened unless like the Pikachu Remo had turned, unless like Pikachu and Ash's like Remo alone had turned into this extra special Zemo that like only Ash and his Pikachu alone is having the like the Zemo can never miss. Like it's like and unless like it's like at that point like Ash's Pikachu's like Zemo turned into like an aerial ace kind of attack that can simply never be ever be dodged. Like an extremely exactly like nearly one hit KO kind of like more specific enhancement gimmick like a Zemo turning into like an aerial ace kind of like undodgeable ability field processing attack like a Zemo that can be taught like a Zemo that will be following the Pokemon that dodges that Zemo until like that Zemo and chases after that Pokemon until that Zemo even lands on that Pokemon. Basically, this being like the sole reason for like this or this special solely due to like Ash and Pikachu's Ash and Pikachu's like Zemo turning into like an extra special move that like only Pikachu as Pikachu alone will be having. It's definitely my personal theory because like my personal theory is that like there will be like a whole lot of other Pikachus out there that will be having like the very same dream move as like that can use like the very same inner Lola that will be or like all of the world that will be like using like the Zemo gimmick will be able to like use the very same Zemo attack as like as a Pikachu Zemo, but like all of those Pokemon like Zemo won't be like chasing after like the opponent Pokemon even after the opponent Pokemon indeed dodging that Zemo. That's definitely my personal preference. So like solely due to like Ash and Pikachu being so extremely special, Ash and his Pikachu being so extremely special, and hence like Ash's Pikachu's remove as well being like solely being like so extremely extra special was like the sole reason for like Ash even being able to like Ash and his like Pikachu even being able to like defeat like the Mega Metagross of Steven, and hence like Ash even being able to like defeat Steven was solely due to like this reason alone is definitely my personal theory. So like the name of the computer in production right now is that like things like the entire like each Pokemon of top like Mega Gardevoir have basically stolen like the spotlight with like defeating Lance and his like Dynamax Dragonite. And but they're only putting definitely in the upcoming Leon versus Dianta battle, like I'm considering like the final showdown that once like Leon as well as like Dianta would be finally down to their final last Pokemon like and that was not bring into being most likely a 6 versus 6 battle as well. It's definitely my mention, but still I'm considering like the final Pokemon that lands and Dianta would be down to I'm considering it will definitely land the stars and like the end that's like a mega Gardevoir. It's like the scenario that I'm looking at. So like in that fight I'm looking at everything like my dance like totally I mean like Leon's like Charizard and like the end that's like mega Gardevoir. Especially when looking at it. So like in that final showdown battle like I'm looking at like Leon totally mega evolving just like I mean like Gigantamax is like Charizard and that popular Gigantamax Charizard of Leon would be like making its entrance into like the Master League. It's like the scenario that I'm looking at. And like in that battle I'm personally even though and I'm considering like if that battle like definitely lands and is like mega charged even though fire attacks I think aren't like that much effective against like a fairy type Pokemon, I'm still predicting it specifically because it's like land specifically because it's like the undefeated champion Leon like I'm considering like Leon and it's like Gigantic start figuring out using some sort of a strategy still overpowering and defeating like the mega Gardevoir of Tianta. It's like the scenario that they're delivering, and that way like an effect happening as if like as to like how much since like Danta and her Mega Gardevoir have basically like destroyed like land and his like final Pokemon like a bullet or like a thing that especially Leon's Leon and his like ace Gigantamax Charizard like victory over by it like most likely eventually destroying like the Mega Gardevoir of Tianta like that way like Leon totally proving to be that much greater in a greater manner, like stronger than not Tianta, but also Lance. It's like the eventual scenario for like the whole Leon versus Tianta showdown fight that I'm talking about the also, like, I'm possibly bringing two possibilities as for like that final showdown battle between Leon and Dianta, where Dianta will be using Shot Mega Gardevoir and Leon will be using his like Charizard. I'm going to bring either for Leon like Charizard to like Leon most likely maybe Gigantamax, not his Charizard, but some other Pokemon in his and since I'm going to bring it will most likely a 6 versus 6 battle regardless of it not even if it's not a 6 versus 6 battle, like still I'm posted on a particular Leon. Maybe I'm leaning right now leaning more towards the possibility that Leon's like patiently saving this a Gigantamax of the set like Charizard possibly for his last final battle for his third and final battle in the whole championship tournament. So like it should be against Ash. So that's like more of a possibility that I'm right now leaning more towards. So like if that's the scenario, then I'm also bring definitely for like even in like Leon's battle against Leonta basically, Leon most likely Gigantamaxing any of the other Pokemon, like regardless of whether it's like a six or like a three battle against like Leonta. Leon still deciding to like Gigantamax is like another Pokemon other than Charizard. That's like the scenario that I'm going to cover. And then I'm talking about either whether it's like Dynamax or Dynamax, like Leon won't be doing it to his Charizard, which is like bad against the other like the other more likely goes to where I'm looking for right now. So like I'm going to bring in maybe still for going to bring like the final battle between most likely being like Leon Charizard versus like basic Charizard like without any gimmick like versus Dianthus like in Mega Gardevoir and even in such a scenario like Leon's Charizard proving to be stronger than Dianthus like Mega Gardevoir and Leon's Charizard like totally still overpowering and defeating Dianthus Mega Gardevoir. That way like Leon and his Charizard proving to be that much more superiorly stronger on this than Dianthus but also than like the more likely possibility that I'm considering or like the other remote kind of possibility that I'm considering is for like the final showdown battle like Lance I mean like Leon totally Gigantamax into his Charizard, but like I was considering at the moment like Leon would be Gigantamax in his Charizard, like that battle not to like progress at all much, like without much great progression like that battle like the moment Leon would be Gigantamax in his Charizard, like the battle to be like quickly over. It's like the scenario that I'm totally parting. And the entire and her mega god were quickly being defeated by Leon and it's like the ultimate power of Gigantic Chapter. It's like the other kind of remote possibility that I'm totally parting. Precisely because like I'm totally parting Leon and his Gigantamax Chapter to get like the main spotlight as Leon and his Gigantamax Chapter will be like seriously actually struggling and that action battle where there will be like actual spotlight for Leon and his like Gigantamax stars are them struggling and them struggling and figuring out of strategy and fighting together and basically them getting all that screen space and those different that will be most likely happening during like the final battle of Leon, which will be against and it will be certainly against as with like Pikachu most likely taking its like Dynamax form like as totally Dynamax into Pikachu and so like a Dynamax Pikachu versus like a Gigantamax Charizard like and that battle will be one of the super thing for like in this like whole championship tournament like Leon and its like Gigantamax Charizard getting that whole screen space would be happening only at that point. It's like a more likely possibility that would be totally perfect. Yeah, so definitely my passenger interaction right now is that like basically the professional news report of like the Pokemon World Championship news. I'm totally trying to he will be like totally overhyping Cynthia and her Mega Garchomp. So that like basically just to like boost the ratings of like the boost the ratings so that like more people would be like viewing like this like for Pokemon World Championship through TV as well as like also like for like the stadium to be filled with like crowd for like the upcoming round of like the World Championship tournament to create that all hype and excitement would be the sole reason for that sole reason he would be like totally overhyping Cynthia's and her Mega Garchomp, even saying her Mega Garchomp's like Cynthia's Garchomp in it Mega was like it's trying to the heavens are like the limit of like the mega Garchomp sprint. Like that would be all like the news reporter falsely or typing like the Indian her mega Garchomp was definitely my first direction, especially after like the definitely that report would have definitely witnessed the performance of like the Mega Garchomp of Cynthia against like the basic hacks of Iris where like the Mega Garchomp like limitations from heaven being like the limit the actual limit true limitations of like Cynthia and her Mega Garchomp was like clearly evident and clearly visible while the Mega Garchomp of Cynthia was like fighting off and she's just struggling against like the basic form hacks of Iris. It's definitely my personal impression. Of course, Cynthia and her Mega Garchomp would be seriously and exceptionally strong. But when entering in like the fittest tournament like the Master Stage, where like they like Cynthia and her Mega Garchomp are put up against like seriously strong opponents and opponents with like such great exceptional potential, even more than Cynthia. Like at that point, like basically Cynthia and her Mega Garchomp like limitations like basically are clearly visible. And hence why the Mega of Cynthia had to like seriously struggle against like even like the basic form of Iris and considering like if Cynthia's Garchomp was even had to struggle even in like mega form, mega evolved form, like it's like exactly like the fight were in like equal terms where like exactly like Iris like had sort of was hadn't used any gimmick like it's like the fight was between like a basic Hacksaw versus like a basic Garchomp, then of India, then Hacksaw would have easily crushed and destroyed like the Garchomp of India is definitely my personal favorite. And the very same thing that like had like the Hacksaurus of like Iris had used any sort of gimmick, like a Pokemon gimmick, whether it's even though Mega Evolution is not Pokemon, like even if it was like a Dynamax or like a Dream move, like if like the Hacksaurus of Iris even had used any of those two gimmicks, like then Cynthia and her Mega Garchomp, her exceptional, supposedly exceptional Mega Garchomp would have totally gotten destroyed by like the Hacksaurus of Iris is definitely my personal awareness. And the news reporter would be well and fully aware of this after like witnessing like the performance of like the extremely limited performance of Cynthia and her Mega Garchomp. It's definitely my personal awareness, a theory impression, but solely to to increase the rating so that like they will get more viewership and so like to get the whole increasing like TRP and rating like solely for this reason the news reporter would be like totally overhyping to the and her mega platform to the extremes is definitely my personal theory and prediction right now. So like my personal theory and prediction right now and for like the news reporter even referring to or like mentioning Ash as like the golden rookie like I'm just referring like especially when like Ash is the official champion of like the Alola region. I think like Ash had made it to the position of like being like the champion of like the Alola region. But like my theory and research that maybe it might be because of like the first quarter. It might have I think like the when Ash became like champion of like the Alola region, I think it was like the first championship uh Pokemon championship in like the Alola region in which like Ash had became like the champion. Is what I think. So like I'm not different. Maybe it might have been like my person theory said like Hesperus that like maybe it might have not been like considered as like even while Ash had became like the champion, I think of like the London region, it might have not been considered as like by the rest of the world as like an official championship Pokemon League Ash might have not been like recognized as like an official champion by like the rest of the world, and that might be the reason for like basically and coupling that with like basically like the newsreader might have also probably forgotten about like or hyping its like competitors to get more viewership. So like when it came to like Ash's turn, so like I think that might be so reason for like the news reporter even mentioning Ash as like the golden rookie, or like maybe it might have to do with like him even thinking like the news reporter even thinking along the lines that to like create like an absolute curiosity among like the audience precisely as for like a rookie like they making it so far into like the Masters Ace basically that way to like why all the other trainers are like established well established trainers with like holding on to like their champion positions like basically for one of them to be who have advanced to like the second round of like the Masters Ace and gotten so far being like the rookie trainer as like basically that way to like totally create like a curiosity among like the audience and like the viewers like basically that way to like get them into like curiously wanting to like watch as a battle like basically that way to increase like the ratings of like the show of the Pokemon World Championship and all that like that's being broadcast and everything like maybe that might be like the intent behind like him even referring to like the news reporter even referring to like Athens like the golden case also like a possible scenario that is a possible reason is definitely my personal impression also like definitely my personal impression as for like the news report like even referring to Ash as like the golden rookie especially calling Ash as like a rookie would have absolutely nothing to do with like it being like the very first time that Ash even entering like the Pokemon World Championship, especially by Pokemon, especially because like the news reporter not even mentioning not even referring to neither Iris or like Alan as like a rookie when my theory is that like definitely it would be like the very first time exactly like Ash it would be like the very first time that like Iris as well as Alan would be like this time entering like the Pokemon World Championship. It's also definitely my theory impression. So like in the news report calling Ash like a rookie would have absolutely nothing to do with like it being like Ash's very first time entering like the Pokemon World Championship. This was definitely my personal impression. Also like I'm still sticking to my personal impression as for like the upcoming like eventually upcoming like Ash versus Cynthia battle like and that's not only still sticking to my personal impression that like the final whether it's like a 6 versus battle or like a 3 versus 3 battle like the final showdown fine battle will be like precisely with like at the last India being down to their once they are down to their last Pokemon, those two precise Pokemon will be precisely India's like Mega Gaston versus like Ash's like Mega Lucario. Definitely my person to and that fight like I'm just not expecting the catch Mega Lucario struggling its way to like defeating like struggling its way to like defeating like the Mega Gaston of India. And that will be precisely how Ash will be seeing history over India definitely one of the reason, and that way, like it's only appearing as like basically as and like Mega Lucario. It's not only that much stronger than like the Mega Garchomp and Cynthia, but like also that much stronger than Iron and her Haxor. But like when in actuality, my legendary impression that like Iron and her Haxor like had they use like any sort of like Pokemon gimmick, like I'm considering that Haxorus of like Iris would have not only destroyed like the Mega Garchomp of India, but also would have totally destroyed, would be easily able to like destroy like the Mega Lucario of Ash as well. It's definitely my legendary impression. So like definitely my legendary impression right now is that like since like Ash and its like Pokemon alone are like so extra special that basically like exactly like how Ancient Pikachu was like has proven to be like so extremely extra special that basically it's like the only Pokemon that can like basically use like a Xenos that can never miss like and considering like since like Ash has also proven like this extreme speciality solely for Ash and his Pokemon along with like Ash during Ash's like fight against like precisely Raihan as well like basically against like Raihan's like against like right hand like Toradon when like basically Ash is like Lucario in its like basic normal form was like basically able to like use like a Gigantamax move with this like Ash is like a Lucario in its normal form using like G Max or like dynamite like aura sphere attack, like basically even while it's in its like normal form. That way once again Ash and his Pokemon alone having being like so extra special can being able to do getting all this extra special powers that which no other Pokemon have. Like I'm going to bring precisely because of this reason I'm going to bring as for like the for Ash versus like Sundia battle. Like I'm going to bring precisely for like sticking to my person that like the final showdown battle would be like precisely a mega Garchomp versus like a mega Lucario battle. And in that battle, I'm going to bring my positive impression right now itself as for like really how exactly Ash is like a mega Lucario. The final attack of Ash is like mega the final attack of Ash is mega Lucario that would be defeating like the mega Garchomp of India. Would be definitely this very same like Gigantamax or Asphere. Like so like at that point since in Ash's battle against like right hand like it was Ash's like basic Lucario that had used like a Gigantamax or like a Dynamax form of like a aura sphere attack. Like I'm also bringing like the only difference I'm also bringing in like Ash's battle against like Cynthia in like the final attack that Ash's like as for like Ash's final attack that would be defeating Cynthia and have like a mega Garchomp would be like Ash's like that at that point it would be like Ash's Lucario, but like it would be Ash's like Lucario turning at that point it would be not Ash's Lucario, but like it would be Ash's like Mega Lucario at that point using once again using like the very same special like Gigantamax like Gigantamax Aura Sphere, like Gigantamax or Dynamax Aura Sphere. So like on one side it would be like as of like Mega Lucario using like the Gigantamax or like Dynamax like Aura Sphere attack, and that would be like the first attack that would be like totally and absolutely undodgeable for like the Mega Garchomp of like Cynthia, and that would be how precisely Mega Garchomp would be like losing to like as of like Mega Lucario. And that way, like as defeating Cynthia, it's like the Winter's final showdown scenario that I'm just predicting through is like as will be defeating Cynthia. It's certainly my consideration. So like I'm totally bring that way, like as of like Lucario getting that absolute special treatment. Exactly like it's as Lucario will getting that extra special treatment with like it's being able to like Lucario being able to like mega evolve and at the same time it's being like the only Pokemon that can also use like a Gigantamax or like a Dynamax move while also being in its like a mega evolved state as well. It's like the eventual scenario, so it's like the eventual scenario that was made only for thing. And once again, that like extra special power, exclusive, only and fully exclusive to like Ash and his like Pokemon alone. Through which like Ash and his like Mega Lucario, through which would be precisely how like Ash and his like Mega Lucario would be repeating like Cynthia and Mega Garchomp. Like that will be my first impression. Okay, so like definitely my top impression right now is for like the Pokemon World Championship News program like this in like an extremely biased manner, like them declaring that they are supporting Ash and basically like in showing that showing that extreme unfair favoritism towards specifically Ash, like I'm considering it would and even branding Ash like basically as like the golden rookie when and that way like basically even giving like the majority of like the programs like spotlights and even solely showing like the previous battles in like the highlight tournament battles of Ash alone, like leading up to like Ash even making it to like the Master Race. Ash battle against Iron as well as Ash battle against like Raihan as well. That like which even took place before like Ash even making it to like the Master Race, which like what specifically that all that spotlight and all that detailing about Ash's battle alone being shown in this like news program as well, like giving the all then that way the news program giving all that special treatment and special favoritism unfair favoritism to Ash alone and even branding Ash as like the golden rookie will all be to likely encourage more people to like basically in like the future to like join to give probably to encourage like more participants and more viewership into like the whole Pokemon World Championship tournament in like the future. It's definitely my best, and that way to like increase like the viewership and everything. Like it's definitely my best information because like even while branding as even while like the program like the Pokemon World Championship this program would be branding as like the golden risky like I'm pretty even when they would be like well and fully aware as to like they would have all the information connecting to like the person as the character as that basically like Ash's journey so far like basically that Ash is from like the Banner Town and basically that like Ash has participated in like all the past Pokemon league even from Kanto, Johto, and like all the other regions in like the past, like leading up to like precisely Galas, like Asher participated, not only participated in all of those Pokemon leagues as well. Asher's experience like that much, Asher that like Asher's not even a rookie, and that Asher actual experience participating all in all these great number of Pokemon leagues as well as like other leagues like the Orange leagues as well. Asher like traveled all across the world and Ash has like so much experience in like having battles like that might even rival like the experience in battles of like even like Leon and like other champions of all these regions who are like currently advancing into like the round two of like the Masters. Like, even while like news reporters and people behind like this Pokemon World Championship news program who team well and fully up would have gathered all this information, would be well and fully aware of the information about Ash. Like still for them to precisely they would be like precisely consciously in the fake manner would be partially less branding as just this like golden rookie character to precisely increase the reach and to encourage more rookies in like the future to participate in like the Pokemon World Championship tournament in like the future and that way like to increase the rating and viewership and overall like to increase like the for curiously connecting to like the Pokemon World Championship that would be like such an important factor according to them to increase like the viewership and rating of like the Pokemon World Championship. So solely due to like this reason like they would be like totally in an unfair manner like they would be like basically even declaring that they are even supporting, showing all that special, even the news program showing all that extra special treatment to like Ash alone, like, and even declaring that they are in like a biased and fair manner, like, so it's basically supporting Ash, even in like the live news program, precisely because like they would be only thinking that that way, like they would be able to like gain the attention of like the of even more viewers into like making them watch like World Championship and like they would be totally thinking that by declaring that they are supporting Ash like all those people as well would be they would get all those great number of people to like precisely support Ash that way and get distracted from like all the other well qualified champions of all these regions who are currently advancing to like the round two of like the Pokemon World Championship along with that like basically so that like if Ash get all that spotlight then like that would be what like greatly increasing like the viewership even way more than like the spotlight falling onto like any other of like the champion from like the other regions, like advancing to like the round two of like the Masters. It's definitely my first generation. Other than beyond like I'm also like the people who like report around like the Pokemon World Championship news programs who might want like the attention to like only on Ash other than beyond like the only other person to have like the attention main attention and spotlight to follow on to only be Ash so that like that would be what they would be viewing as like the only way to like greatly increase like the viewership and like the popularity of like the Pokemon World Championship and by specifically falsely branding assets like false golden trophy of like the Pokemon World Championship might be what like the news reporters and like the people who runs like the Pokemon World Championship news program might be currently doing. That's definitely my booking to them. So like definitely my booking to impression right now is that like usually things like and stuff is like the ghost type gender of like the Galar region and those type of thing like definitely Elster, obviously, so we totally be fond of like those programs. So like I'm preferring like what might have totally caught Elster's interest towards like Ash might have been precisely Gengar, like definitely and hence why Alistair currently will be even precisely pushing Gengar for Gengar success in like the Master Race tournament. It's also definitely my personal dream. So like I was preferring like precisely even back then when Ash so badly wanted to like Gengar to be able to like Gigantamax and what see eventually ended up seeking help from Alistair, like and Alistair even helping Ash out so much, like might also have to do with like Alistair taking quite an interest towards like Ash's Gengar. So also definitely my open to envision and even preferring like Alistair as well as like Gengar in that might have had like an interaction where like preferring even in that interaction definitely Gengar might have definitely not told Alistair at all about like Gengar's past as to like how Ash's Gengar was initially abandoned by like its original trainer and everything. Because like that would be like something that would be too depressing for Gengar that Gengar might and would be like making Gengar feel extremely insecure that basically Gengar would be like most likely a Pokemon that would rather prefer to like always smile than like see to than appear depressed in front of others. It's definitely my personal emergency, especially because of all the reasons my personal emergency that like Gengar might have definitely not at all told Alistair about like Gengar's past, Gengar's sad past being abandoned is definitely my personal emergency. But like Alistair, my personal that since like Alistair is like specialized in like those Pokemon, I'm personally remembering Alistair definitely might have like psychic powers and abilities using this, which like Alistair himself would be able to like see like the past and future, or possibly not just Pokemon but also people. It's definitely a possibility that I'm looking for. Maybe it would be either like the past of Pokemon or like past alone of like Pokemon and people, or like it would be like, or it would be just like Alistair being able to like see, having like the power to be able to like only see like the past of a Pokemon alone. Or like it would be like the past and future of like those Pokemon alone. Like it would be either the past of those Pokemon alone or like the past and future of those Pokemon. It's like my personal emotions. So like anyway, it will prove that psychic ability that Alistair might have precisely seen like the past of Gengar and might have precisely like realized that all the like suffering that Gengar had gone through and about like the sad past of Gengar that easily from that point like and might have had like that absolute extreme empathy towards like Gengar and might have been totally cheering for Gengar since that day and Alistair might have been like totally even after like realizing about Gengar's past, like Alistair might have totally been extremely happy for Gengar in like the present precisely because of like Gengar, at least even though Gengar was abandoned by his like original trainer, like at least Gengar is in like precise safe hands and is, like the perfect person for Gengar in hand. So it's definitely my best dream. So uh, but like my personal theory and is that like about my personal theory, regardless of whether like and is only able to see like the path of Gengar alone. Like even regardless of even if the Gangster is not able, even if the Gangster is totally unable to like see the future of Gengar. Like even regardless of that, like Gangster currently even cheering on Gengar through like the radio. Gangster even doing that would be Alistair consciously doing that while being well and fully aware that like that message of Alistair would definitely won't be at all reaching Gengar. Definitely my personal memory. Yet like Alistair might have only decided to like so that's only so that like it just might have felt right to like Alistair to like even though it might not reach it would Alistair would be fully aware that message won't reach Gengar like it just might have felt right and felt good for Alistair to like just send that message out through the radio and that will be the sole reason for like Alistair even cheering Gengar on through that message. It's definitely my personal memory. Like definitely my personal theory and direction right now is that like basically Ansgar would be so extremely kind-hearted that like basically his act of like basically vaguely like cheering Gengar on through like the radio would be like basically like doing what feels right to him without expecting nothing in return, like without even like expecting not even like the their recognition at all from Gengar that has to like Ansgar cheering Gengar on not even expecting or even wanting not even that in return. Like basically him just wanting to like feel right by just cheering his like best friend Gengar on through like the radio would be all the kind hearted youngster would be doing in like the present is definitely my top theory impression. Okay, so like definitely my top theory and prediction right now for like among Ash's like member Pokemon current six member Pokemon team like the first Pokemon that totally got attention was like the five among like the six Pokemon with like Dracovish being like the only Pokemon that are not getting attention. Especially because like even through like the Pokemon World Championship news as well, like precisely the Pokemon of Ash that got the attention was precisely Dragonite, Pikachu as well as like Lucario. And then after that, like basically the five other two Pokemon of Ash that got the attention was precisely Ash's like Surface as well as like Ash's like Gengar. Like I'm considering that all like that collectively adding up to Ash's like five Pokemon with like the only single ignored Pokemon being like precisely Dracovish and precisely only precisely because of this reason I'm considering like in like the upcoming battles of Ash, which is like the extremely important like a round two of like the world extremely important world championship tournament battle from round two to like leading to like at final battle against Leon. Like I'm supposed to bring the precise and only Pokemon of Ash that will be getting like the least amount of that I'm supposed to get like the least amount of like thing is sort of relevant or like spotlight. I'm supposed to bring that to be this precise exact ignore Pokemon, which will be precisely Dracovish, which is like the only Pokemon. This is like the Dracovish is like the only Pokemon in like Ash's like current six-member Pokemon team. That's like the only Pokemon that's like actually fully from like the Galar region. Like even in like Surface space, like I'm considering, even though Surface might have been like a form of like Farfetch like or like a form of Farfetch like found in like the Galar region that can only evolve into like Farfetch. And even though Surface might have been like introduced in like the Galar region, like but preferring skill basically like since like Farfetch is like a Pokemon that basically have already been created even from way back in like the Kanto region from all the way from generation one. Like since because of all the reasons, like the only actual brand new fully Galar region Pokemon that Ash even have in like Ash like entire six member current entire six member Pokemon team is only Dracovish, and those different even then still like in like the upcoming important battle for Ash like Krakow alone like totally getting like ignored and getting like the least bit of spotlight, especially my personal generation. While like the entirety of like the main spotlight would be totally be taken by precisely like Ash's like remaining five Pokemon, like the four among those five Pokemon being like totally Pokemon, even from that three among those Pokemon being like precisely Pokemon from like the very first generation, even from like the very first generation, even from Kanto region, like precisely Gengar, as well as like Dragonite, as well as Pikachu, Pokemon from like even like the very first generation, like getting all that great name spotlight along with like Lucario as well, who's like Lucario as well, being like a Pokemon that was like introduced like not like in like a region that's like far out from, I think like Lucario was introduced in like the fourth generation, like Sinnoh region is definitely my favorite animal. So like the Pokemon that have been already like been seen by the viewers like multiple times, like they getting like most likely getting like Pokemon like Pikachu, Gengar, Dragonite, and Lucario getting like the majority and main or that main spotlight in like the precise yeah, and even Farfetch as well getting all that main spotlight in like Farfetch as well getting all that main spotlight for like as it's like upcoming important battles while like precisely like the only original Pokemon from like the Galar region, actual original, fully original Pokemon from like the Galar region, Dracovish, most likely getting like mainly ignored and like only getting like a minuscule of like a spotlight and relevance in like as its upcoming important battles is like the eventual scenario that involves it only running and my impression. So like it showed like the Siberian Princess like the Pokemon World currently like the Pokemon World Championship News program as well as like the Pokemon radio talk show as well like precisely like, highlighting and giving importance like to all the other five Pokemon of like as of like team except for like Dracovish. Dracovish alone getting ignored would be from all that and not getting any sort of importance from all that, like would be like precisely a foreshadowing of like precisely a Dracoish, like even in like the upcoming important matches of at like in leading up to like as battle against Leon as well, like Dracoish getting like the least amount of like spotlight and any sort of importance at all. It's definitely my personal remembrance.